Governor Charlie Baker is requesting a major disaster declaration from the Trump White House, a move that would unlock federal funding as Arlington and the rest of the state try to flatten the curve and stem the spread of the coronavirus. This as area unemployment claims skyrocket, as many businesses now grind to a halt and the economy hangs in the balance. Meantime, town leaders now say there are a dozen coronavirus cases in Arlington, but because of the limited availability of tests, they believe this is not an accurate count of the actual spread of the virus in the Arlington community. This broadcast was produced and edited on March the 27th.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Hello, and welcome to a special edition of ACMi News. I'm ACMi News Director Jeff Barn. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. This has been indeed another extraordinary week for the town of Arlington and the nation as citizens do what they can to flatten that curve and weather the crisis as best they know how. Many businesses, stores, restaurants, and other shops, theaters are closed throughout the town, and most of the town business, a great deal of the town business, is being conducted electronically. And most Arlington residents are doing what they can to stay home and stay safe. Now, you'll recall earlier this week, on March the 23rd, Monday, the Select Board held its meeting. It was a virtual Select Board meeting with the help of ACMi and its operations manager, Jeff Monroe. And in that meeting, they declared a local state of emergency and they postponed the town election. And here are the new dates as they stand now. The new election date will be either the Saturdays of June 6th or June 13th. The board will vote on a date at its March 30th meeting. Now, town meeting may only be delayed for increments of 30 days. To start the town meeting after the election, the town moderator plans to call a 30-day delay on April the 27th, postponing it to May 27th. On May 27th, John Leone will likely call another delay until enough time has passed after the town election.
The only concerns we have, and I've had these discussions with Attorney Hahn, is if we postpone too long, will it have any negative effects upon the zoning articles, which have certain requirements for publication and public meetings? We'd have to straighten out and make sure we don't impact any of those prior meetings and hearings that we've had that got us ready for the April date. Other thoughts that I've had were if we just meet for the financial articles alone and promise everybody that all the other articles would be put onto a special town meeting to be held in the fall, but that would require the consent of the board here to put all those 10 citizen articles on that special town meeting if we choose that, and to put all the other articles that are there back on a special town meeting in the fall if it looks like we're going to have to go that far. These are things we won't know for a couple months, and we're going to have to kind of play this as it goes. There is a lot of leeway here, and there is some options. I've also thought about the seating. There's no reason those seats have to be stuck together. We could have the town hall staff separate the seats on the floor by 6 feet. We can have the town meeting members sit up in the balcony and socially distance themselves. It doesn't matter where they are. With the electronic voting, I don't need them on the floor in order to handle the vote. I just need them within the enclosure of town hall. The other option would be if we actually did town meeting on another day, like a Saturday, and we could hold it on somehow, maybe we could hold it on the football field down at Arlington High School and separate everybody by 6 feet. As long as the electronic clickers could work, we can find that out. So there are options if we have to hold the town meeting before we get an all clear. And as Mr. Chapdelaine says, if it's going to be 18 months, we probably will have to hold a meeting of some sort.
John Leone went on to say town leaders prefer to hold town meeting as soon as it is safe to do so. Also, the declaration of a local state of emergency in Arlington means the town will be eligible for reimbursement of crisis-related expenses. And you could tell just by seeing those dates that were brought up at the Select Board meeting that town leaders think that this crisis is going to go considerably longer than was first thought. You'll hear much more from Adam Chapdelaine regarding those dates in just a few more minutes in this broadcast. Meantime, ACMi News visited several business owners and operators to get their take on this crisis and how they're faring through the coronavirus spread. And they basically said, you know what, we're all going to get through this. But like the rest of us, they're considering the very same thing. Yeah, we'll get through it. But at what price? As Town Hall remains closed to the public with just a skeleton crew, a sign out front encouraging residents to stay connected to a COVID-19 communication center. All walk-in programs at the town senior center are suspended. Arlington Friends of the Drama has canceled all remaining productions. Its website saying, sorry, the show can't go on. We managed to interview the owner of the Continental Hair Salon at 214 Mass Ave just before the town announced all Arlington personal care establishments will be closed at least through April 6th.
It's crazy, it's scary because small business, if you have 1 or 2 slow weeks, it kind of wears you down and it kind of sets you back a month or two. For every week, it probably sets you back a month. And then you get a backlog of people, but you know, it's universal. Everybody's in the same boat, so it's nothing. It's not like we're going on vacation and someone is, someone else is open. You're not losing business, but at the same time, how do you pay your rent? How do you pay your employees? And you have to treat your employees right because, they're there when you need them. So it's kind of, you have a rainy day fund, but, you don't want a monsoon fund. You need a monsoon fund for this.
On Medford Street, restaurants like the Lucky Dragon hang takeout-only signs, something that has become a common sight in neighboring eateries. Its operators hoping to weather this crisis. The neighboring Artful Heart Gallery has cut back its hours. Its owner, Carla Dorado, a frequent news anchor on ACMi News, says as a business owner, this is extremely unnerving.
Let's face it, a gallery is not someplace you're going to find things that you have to have. There are more things that you would like to have. So, but there are people kind of stepping up. We offered some free delivery, and some people have ordered a few items, and I've delivered them, kind of touch-free to their homes and everything. It's, everyone I think is just trying to do the best they can. We have applied for some of the disaster relief. Whether we'll get it, I don't know. Because there's not that much relief, and I'm sure a lot of businesses going for that. But, we'll just see.
You have a lot of nice things, obviously, in the store. We've been in there many times, but this is the time of the year, I would think, when the winter is just ending and spring is just taking off, and there's gifts to be bought for graduates, proms, things like that. This is it. Is this the peak of your season other than Christmas?
This is it before the summertime comes. So this is really, I think, going to affect us and a lot of other small places, depending on, what comes through for small businesses like us. I mean, landlords still want their rent, and, the phone still has to be paid. All those things. It's all those little things that add up,
Arlington's pharmacies and grocery stores remain open as customers get medication and shop for food and other essential items. One worker saying as soon as the trucks deliver certain items, they disappear off the store shelves.
I don't know why toilet paper is the big issue, but that's what it is. When they announced when the closing of the schools, that was last Thursday, and that was horrendous. I rang from 3 till 10 at night. All the pasta, the Progresso soup, because you don't have to put water in it. I don't know if that was the case, but that was the most soup that was sold, and staples that would last a long time besides paper goods. We opened the store from 6 a.m. till 7:30 in the morning for people 60 and over, and then the rest of the public can come in after that. And we get shipments in every day, as much as they can bring in or whatever they can get, from the different stores and our own store.
The Regent Theater is now closed, at least through the first week of April. Sold-out shows have been rescheduled for later dates in the summer, fall, even next winter. Its seats, now empty. Its screen, now dark.
The only thing we can do is continue to change And I think there was a Clint Eastwood movie once where the mantra was adapt, improvise, and overcome. And I think about that often when there are challenges in business or personal life, but certainly this is a time when that rings true. So we can only do what we can do, which is try to reschedule events for a reasonable amount of time in the future. And if it's impossible for whatever reason, we do cancel those events. At the same time, we're a busy theater with events in the future we haven't yet put up on our calendar or put tickets on sale. So we're continuing to do that because we don't know what the future lies, but we feel there's a future for the Regent Theater. Let me just say that one of the things that's more difficult for me, and I think for a lot of us, other than, besides the financial impact, which obviously is significant, and who even knows where that's going to end up, but the emotional impact of losing your community. A theater is nothing else if it's not about community and bringing people together. I could go on and on and on, but we often call ourselves the United Nations of theaters, and it's sort of true. But the point is that that's a very hard pill to swallow right now, because you can deal with all of the practical things and the rescheduling and how we're going to apply for loans or get through the financial part and help out our employees. But it's that real emotional impact of, like I say, losing that community and that feeling of emptiness that people have as individuals when they're isolated. But it's a whole kind of different thing on a larger scale with losing our audience, where we have the good fortune of bringing so many people together to enjoy a film or a live show, to be entertained, to be informed.
Just down Mass Ave at the Capitol Theater, no movies and upcoming attractions on its marquee. Just a message for its patrons: stay home, stay safe. Venues like this, where people usually go to get away from the rigors of everyday life, are now shuttered until more definitive news arrives, which for everyone can't seem to come soon enough.
This is crazy. It looks like the world is shut down. It's really, I don't know if they're making too big of a deal out of it or not, not enough, but it's scary.
It is scary indeed. Now, Assistant News Director for ACMi, Brendan Mahoney, talked to Jeff Chunglo. He is the Director of Veteran Services here in Arlington, and he is trying to get donations for those brave people who are on the front lines currently fighting an invisible enemy.
It's being described more and more as a war, this fight against COVID-19, and this is one of its weapons. It's a simple can of disinfectant wipes, and if you even have one extra one to spare in your home, the town of Arlington wants it, as well as those coveted PPEs, the N95 masks or surgical masks or gloves. And the more who contribute to this effort, well, the Veteran Services Director for the town of Arlington says the more weapons they'll have.
Obviously, we're looking to collect the personal protective equipment that is vital for our first responders and healthcare providers. Any amount, any donation will be greatly appreciated. Can people donate masks that they are making? Yes, they can. Although not ideal, these masks do provide some protection. I will be coordinating this program, and we'll be emailing and contacting every person that donates to schedule a time for donation pickup. So we're looking at distributing to our first responders. Any in-town needs, we will address those first. And then we will join with Beth Israel Hospital and coordinate with their donation center to provide additional resources to the other healthcare workers. And this is a vital step in the battle against the COVID-19 virus. We all need to do our part, and anything that residents can do to assist us in flattening the curve and getting through this is greatly appreciated. This is a war against a virus we've never seen before. The extent, the personal sacrifices that have been made and will continue for some time, So it is my hope that the residents will join in this effort, provide needed resources to help get us back on track.
Human Services Director Jeff Chonglo says the items that are picked up will then sit for a few days before they're distributed. And with under 50,000 people in this town, if everyone pitches in something, these weapons will really start to add up. Brenda Mahoney, ACMi News.
Earlier this week, I had a chance to talk to Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine. He is spending most of his workdays at home. Town Hall is virtually closed up until this crisis passes. And this is what he had to say to bring us all up to date. I noticed you also posted some signs along the Minuteman Bikeway. We've been hearing some people in Arlington concerned that they see some people holding hands. They're not practicing social distancing. They're not really in single file. What are your concerns along there? And when did you put those signs out? They came up pretty fast.
Yeah, I want to say we put up those signs on Friday.
Okay.
And we've been hearing from a number of residents concerned about the way people are behaving on the bike path. And, those signs are pretty detailed in the instructions they give on how people should be conducting themselves on the bike path. Unfortunately, we still keep hearing from people who are concerned about the way people are conducting themselves on the bike path. So, I'll repeat the message now. Try to walk single file, staying 6 feet apart, avoid congregating. I mean, if you're walking down the bike path with a family member who you live with, that you're in regular contact with, I think you can walk side by side and hold hands, but don't get too close to people that are walking in front of you, right? We want to keep people separated so that we break these lines of transmission so that the spread of the virus is slowed. So, and people need to remember, just because it's outside, there's no science suggesting that being outside slows the transmission. So I know I would even say before this all started, I would have thought being outside you're safer from coming down when someone's cold or whatever they might be dealing with.
That's the universal thought, yeah.
Yeah, but the science is not suggesting that is true. So keeping your social distance at least 6 feet away from people that are not in your immediate family unit living in your household is really key to keeping yourself and others safe.
And what problems, really this is the first week everybody's enduring this. What are some of the problems as a town manager that you've run into in this first week? Town hall is closed. You have a skeletal crew. I'm sure you're on the phone constantly. What problems have you run into, or what changes have happened in the last week for you?
So I'm working almost entirely remotely. I've been into town hall only a few times. Amazingly, I'm on a text chain with some of my colleagues in other communities, and we all agree that even though we're remotely, we're working more than we ever worked when we were in the office. And yet at the end of the day, you don't necessarily feel as though you've accomplished anything. And I think to some degree, that's the definition of crisis management. You're not producing new work, but rather you're just managing what's coming at you on a day-to-day basis. I would say we have definitely adapted. Town offices now starting today will be closed to the public entirely. Well, they had been closed last week. They'll be continue to be closed. Even our one-person staffing in non-essential offices is going down to 0 staffing. People are still going to be checking their voicemails and emails from home. We're only staffing the treasurer's office, to some degree the clerk's office, IT, and payroll. Those are the essential town office functions that we're staffing. We're keeping inspections going on a very limited basis with precautions being taken, and we're keeping DPW on a very minimal staffing with more of an on-call operation to make sure we can keep things running as best possible.
Now, you can see more of my interview with Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine on our website. Just go to acmi.tv, or you can go to our ACMi News Facebook page. It's also on the town website. All you have to do is go to arlingtonma.gov. Now, believe it or not, we have a sports update to give you, and that sports update could not come at a better time. Let's go now to the guys in Studio B.
Hello, Arlington sports lovers. I hope you're all staying home and healthy. Today's sports update comes to you from my house, as I'm practicing my social distancing. Unfortunately, as the virus continues to affect the community, the MIAA has made the decision to delay the start of the spring season until April 27th. All tournament and regular season games must be wrapped up by June 20th. This week, the The board of directors at MIA have been meeting to discuss the structure of the tournament and regular season. For now, you can find more information at MIAA.net. They've posted a question sheet that's being updated regularly. In the meantime, we want to hear from you, the community. How are you staying active during these times while practicing social distancing? Send us a clip of how you're staying active. Maybe you've created some fun backyard game. Anything that you feel is worthy to share, contact us at sports@acmi.tv. That's it for this week's edition of the Sports Update. From my living room to yours, I'm Nick Antonakis.
Now, if there's anything you want to learn as far as updates are concerned regarding the coronavirus throughout Arlington, go to that town website, arlingtonma.gov. Again, that's arlingtonma.gov. They are constantly updating different stories and the latest stories on that website. If you want to see what ACMi News is doing, all you have to do is go to the ACMi.tv website, click on Newscasts. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a coronavirus link. It basically tells you all the stories that we've been doing to cover Arlington during this crisis. If you think you have any stories that would help us out, and it's possibly a story you want to get out, we want to hear from you. All you have to do is email us at news@acmi.tv. That's news@acmi.tv. If you want to learn how to take better care of yourself and stay safe, you can go for the Centers for Disease Control website. Go to their website at cdc.gov. Again, that's the Centers for Disease Control website at cdc.gov. That way you can better take care of yourself, maybe take care of others, or maybe take care of a neighbor who needs your help. That'll do it for us here at ACMi News. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Barn. Please stay safe, and if you can, please take care of others. Good night.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.